My fiancée, Lu Ruyan, unexpectedly dragged her ex-boyfriend to the office and made an announcement. From now on, the position of vice president will be held by Yi Tengqing. Every eye in the room turned toward me at once. Why? I am the current vice president. But looking at Lu Ruyan's confident expression, it seemed she had forgotten exactly whose hard work built this company into what it is today. I took a deep breath, suppressed my anger, and said, "Fine. From now on, you go your way and I'll go mine. We have nothing to do with each other anymore." But when I returned to my own company, Lu Ruyan came looking for me, crying and begging. "Please come back. The company can't function without you." I simply pulled my hand gently out of hers and replied coldly, "I'm sorry, but we are just strangers now." That day, I had returned to the office excited about a newly signed contract. All the employees looked at me with eyes full of pity. I was a bit confused. What happened? They only shook their heads and signaled for me to go see for myself. My heart began to pound, a sense of dread washed over me. When I entered the office, I discovered all of my belongings had been thrown out, piled up like a mountain in front of the door. Looking inside the room, I saw Yi Tengqing standing there, happily arm in arm with Lu Ruyan. She was looking at him with eyes full of affection. Yi Tengqing beamed and waved at me. "Oh, isn't this Gu Chang'an? Long time no see." I didn't even bother looking at him, I just turned to Lu Ruyan and asked, "What is he doing here?" Lu Ruyan frowned. "Gu Chang'an, can you speak a bit more politely?" I almost laughed out of pure frustration. "Lu Ruyan, is your memory only 3 seconds long? Don't you remember who abandoned you before?" Yi Tengqing began to act superior. "Gu Chang'an, you've been demoted. I am now the vice president of Lu Corporation. You will be my assistant." Hearing that, I only gave a faint smile. Unbelievable. Lu Ruyan lowered her head, not daring to look me in the eye, while Yi Tengqing held his head high, looking incredibly smug. I burst out laughing. "Is this a New Year's joke? Yi Tengqing, do you really think you're capable of sitting in this chair?" Hearing this, Yi Tengqing's face turned bright red, but he remained stubborn. "Don't get too ahead of yourself, Gu Chang'an. I just need time. I will do many times better than you." Truly thick-skinned, lying without even blinking. Those who didn't know might think he was some kind of expert, but Lu Ruyan clearly knew the truth, yet she still looked at him with admiration. "I believe Yi Tengqing can do it," she declared firmly. I looked at them in silence, remembering what Lu Ruyan's father once said, "Chang'an, after I'm gone, you must take care of Ruyan and Lu Corporation." I still remember that day, when my family's company nearly collapsed due to my father's accident. Chairman Lu saved our company from the brink of bankruptcy on one condition: I had to marry Lu Ruyan and protect her for the rest of her life. Yet now, she chose to side with Yi Tengqing. It's true that people change, and feelings disappear along with them. But regardless, I would fulfill my promise to Chairman Lu. Not because I still had feelings for Lu Ruyan, but because my self-respect wouldn't allow me to turn my back on what I had promised. It was always like this. Every time exams came around, Lu Ruyan would barely scrape by with a passing grade. Every time I held a book to teach her, she would tug on my sleeve and act spoiled. "I don't like studying this stuff. Besides, with you by my side, I don't have to worry about anything, including managing the company." In the end, she stubbornly switched to studying fine arts. It was there she met Yi Tengqing and fell deeply in love with him. Lu Ruyan and Yi Tengqing even stood before me making grand vows, promising that their love would last forever and that nothing could tear them apart. Honestly, I thought Lu Ruyan was too young. The more I forbade it, the more she rebelled. So, I decided not to interfere. I even chose to go abroad to expand the company's branches, leaving Lu Corp for her to manage. I thought that as long as she was busy, no one would have time for romance. Who would have guessed that Lu Ruyan wouldn't just make a series of wrong decisions, but would nearly drive Lu Corp to bankruptcy, just like what my family's company went through years ago. But she didn't panic at all, because she knew I was there, that I wouldn't let Lu Corp collapse. But Yi Tengqing didn't think that way. When he saw the company on the brink of ruin and the money running out, he immediately sent a breakup text to Lu Ruyan, blocked all contact, and vanished without a trace. It took me 5 months to save Lu Corp from the risk of bankruptcy. But Lu Ruyan didn't care about the company in the slightest. Instead, she constantly cried to me, cursing Yi Tengqing as a coward. I thought that after that incident, she would realize his true colors. But no, Lu Ruyan stupidly went back to Yi Tengqing and even gave him the position of vice president. Lu Ruyan clearly forgot the promise she made to her father before he passed away. Chairman Lu had held our hands and said, "Ruyan, in the future, you must listen to Gu Chang'an. It's best that you marry him and live happily." I had agreed, and Lu Ruyan had also cried while promising her father. But now, she exploded. "You keep using my father's words to threaten me. You're so annoying. Yi Tengqing cares if I'm hungry or tired, while you only know how to force me to study. I'm a human being with my own thoughts, not a dog that only knows how to obey you." I asked back coldly, "Are you serious? Are you saying you want to call off the engagement?" Lu Ruyan replied angrily, "That's right, I'm serious." I took a few steps back and raised my voice. "Did all of you colleagues hear that? Lu Ruyan has announced the cancellation of the engagement between her and me. I, Gu Chang'an, agree. I will issue an official notice regarding this matter immediately." The crowd gasped, while Yi Tengqing couldn't hide his triumphant look. Lu Ruyan seemed stunned. She didn't expect me to agree so easily. But when Yi Tengqing nudged her, Lu Ruyan remained just as stubborn, biting her lip and saying, "Fine. I will also issue a notice. From now on, we are strangers." I gave a self-deprecating laugh and turned to leave Lu Corporation. An assistant? Let that guy be my boss? Forget it. If he has enough ability to manage a company, I swear I'll write my name backward. For the past few years, I've been busy saving and building Lu Corp, sacrificing even my own family's company career. Now that Lu Ruyan doesn't need me anymore, I'm going back to focus on my own company. It's a huge relief. No longer having to run back and forth between two companies, my work has become easier, and I no longer have to work until midnight. I even have free time to watch movies and enjoy a glass of wine in the evening. Life is truly comfortable. But then, after just a week, I received a phone call from a client about product quality being lower than agreed upon. I didn't even have to think to know it was Yi Tengqing's doing. I rushed to Lu Corp to settle it. When I arrived, the employees were all complaining. "Mr. Chang'an, you're finally back. We can't work with Yi Tengqing anymore." It turned out that Yi Tengqing, in an effort to show off his ability, had decided to cut costs by buying cheap raw materials from companies with bad reputations. As a result, the products did not meet the requirements. The team didn't want to ship this batch, but Yi Tengqing said customers wouldn't notice these small flaws. He insisted on shipping the goods. President Lu Ruyan, also said whoever talked too much would be fired, so no one dared to say a word. But now, customers were accusing the company of false advertising, demanding to cancel contracts and suing the company. "Mr. Chang'an, what should we do?" Yi Tengqing actually dared to sell low-quality goods. How incredibly. In business, reputation is everything. Doing that is no different from pushing Lu Corp into an abyss. As soon as I entered the office, I couldn't hold back and threw a punch straight into Yi Tengqing's face. Blood sprayed from his nose, and the left side of his face swelled up red. Even while spitting blood, he dared to snap back. "You hit me? You idiot who knows nothing but loves to show off." I threw another punch at the right side of his face. Yi Tengqing's face now looked like a pig's head. Lu Ruyan rushed over to stop me. She hurriedly examined the wounds on Yi Tengqing's face, then turned to glare at me. "Gu Chang'an, how dare you hit Yi Tengqing? What right do you have?" I smiled coldly. "What right? Don't you know what's happening?" Lu Ruyan panted. She clearly knew Yi Tengqing was in the wrong, but she still tried to defend him. Yi Tengqing doesn't have experience. So what if he makes one mistake? Then her tone changed, and she gently tugged on my sleeve. "Chang'an, Lu Corp was built by you. You don't want the company to be affected by this, do you? Please, just one more time, go and settle this with the client." Lu Ruyan knew exactly how to manipulate me. Whenever she needed something, she only had to call me Chang'an, and I would nod in agreement immediately. Although I didn't want to clean up this mess, When I thought about the project that I and the employees had worked so hard on for many nights to sign, I couldn't just abandon it. I took a deep breath, grabbed the folder on the desk and walked out. After settling things with the client and returning, I saw Yi Tengqing with his face covered in bandages, laughing even as he clutched his cheek, as it was clearly very painful. "So sorry, Gu Chong'an. Ruyan said the credit for this project will go to me. Thanks for doing the heavy lifting for me." I furrowed my brows and replied coldly, "Do I need to straighten your crooked tongue with another punch?" Yi Tengqing quickly backed away, clearly aware of my strength. What a coward. Lu Ruyan immediately stood in front of him to block me. "Gu Chong'an, you've already beaten Yi Tengqing like that and you still want to hit him again? He's being very generous by not suing you." I didn't even bother arguing with her and just asked directly. "He said you're going to give him the credit for this project. Is that true?" Ruyan hesitated for a moment before speaking up firmly. "You're so talented, you don't need that bit of extra money. Yi Tengqing just started and isn't familiar with the work yet. What's the harm in giving him this win?" I let out a mocking laugh, looking at Yi Tengqing, who was sighing in relief behind her. "Ruyan, this society doesn't work by just giving things to whoever you feel like. Only the capable deserve to hold their positions. If you have so much money to throw around, why don't you go distribute it to the poor?" Ruyan turned pale, but then she shouted, "I am the owner of Lu Corp. I have the right to decide everything here. You have no right to question me." The surrounding employees flinched at her words. I tried to suppress my anger, looking straight at Ruyan. "Ruyan, Yi Tengqing is an arts major. He knows nothing about management. Handing Lu Corp over to him is like driving the company to its death." Ruyan replied coldly, "Who says? I studied management too. I'll teach him. Yi Tengqing is very smart, he'll make it happen." Had she forgotten how terrible her own management grades were? A poor student claiming they could teach someone else. It was a joke. But Ruyan was now blinded by Yi Tengqing and wouldn't listen to anyone. I placed the folder on the desk and said, "This is the last time. From now on, whether Lu Corp lives or dies has nothing to do with me anymore." Yi Tengqing immediately yelled, "Then it has nothing to do with us. Who do you think you are? Lu Corp doesn't need you. With Ruyan, the company will definitely grow even stronger." Ruyan shouted back in anger, "Exactly. I am the owner of Lu Corp, and you were just a shadow behind me. I've had enough. Get out." So that was it. Ruyan felt that my presence had overshadowed her within the company. But she never considered the times I tried to help her learn, while she was busy shopping or attending fashion shows. When I was out drinking to butter up clients, where was she? Regardless, I had done so much to bring Lu Corp to where it is today. But now, Ruyan wanted to kick me out for a man who had abandoned her the moment things got difficult. I silently looked at Ruyan one last time, turned my back, and left Lu Corp. With no more encumbrances, I began planning the overseas expansion of Gu Corp. "Mr. Chong'an, Ms. Shun has arrived. Send her in." I turned off the intercom and rubbed my temples. Shun Yuchu, the eldest daughter of the Shun family. Not only was she her father's darling, but she was also even smarter than him. Under her leadership, Shun Corp was flourishing. She walked in without saying a word and sat down in the chair opposite me. "Long time no see, CEO Gu." She was wearing a red dress with sharp makeup, carrying the aura of a goddess. She was truly a rare beauty. I looked at her and almost lost my footing, nearly tripping. "Already falling for me? Wake up." She pouted with dissatisfaction. "Gu Chong'an, I came here to ask you one thing. Is it true that you and Ruyan have completely ended things?" I frowned. It was this question again. The Lu Corp website has already posted the notice of the cancelled engagement. It's obviously real. But what I want to know is, have you truly moved on from Ruyan in your heart? I replied nonchalantly, "It's just the past. The love is gone. One day of reminiscing is enough. The current Ruyan isn't worth any more of my time." Shin Yuchu raised an eyebrow. "Then I can pursue you now, right?" I sighed, getting a headache. Why did she ask this every time we met? 3 years ago, I met Shin Yu-chu at an auction. The very first time, she asked if I had a girlfriend. When she found out I was engaged to Lu Ruyan, she bluntly declared, "Ruyan isn't right for you." Even though I knew that, my promise to Chairman Lu couldn't be changed, so I always kept my distance from her. She understood and stopped seeking me out, only teasing me occasionally. If one day you and Ruyan break up, don't forget that Shin Yu-chu is waiting for you. And now, when I was actually single, Shin Yu-chu didn't hesitate to speak plainly. Gu Chang'an, I've liked you for a very long time. I didn't interfere before because you were engaged, but now that you're a single man, there's no law against me pursuing you. She had a point, but I just wanted to focus on my career. In the end, unable to argue back, I was dragged away by her on a date, which was actually a trip to the supermarket. A rich young lady like her, how could she handle a kitchen? I thought to myself. When I saw her picking out ingredients, I suddenly remembered that Ruyan only knew how to eat. The cooking was always done by me or the maids. Yet, Shin Yu-chu was handpicking every item, and they were all things I liked. How do you know my food preferences? I asked curiously. She pouted. What are you looking at? It's not hard to know the preferences of the person in your heart. I coughed slightly. It's nothing, I was just curious to see how your skills are. Don't worry, I've studied cooking very hard. My skills can rival a 5-star chef, she said confidently. I thought to myself that she probably only knew how to cut fruit. But when the sweet and sour ribs were served and I tried them, I had to admit she wasn't exaggerating. I couldn't help myself and ate until my stomach was completely full. Shin Yu-chu laughed and poked my cheek. Well, how does it feel to be defeated? I raised my hands in surrender. I was wrong. Please have mercy, great heroine. She sat next to me, smiling brightly. So, want to just stay here? I'll cook for you every day. As much as I appreciated it, I still declined. No matter how delicious the food, I couldn't betray someone's feelings just for a meal. She grumbled. I thought I had lured you home already. But then she smiled again. Fine, come shopping with me. I had never gone shopping with a woman, not even Ruyan. Today I learned that women can shop all day without getting tired. I sat panting on a bench while she kept changing clothes and asking me, "Does this look good?" I could only reply, "Beautiful. You look good in anything, even if you wore a sack, it would be beautiful." Then came another lovely dress. Is it pretty? Shin Yu-chu asked, her gaze sharp as if she wanted to burn me. Learning from the previous time, I answered cautiously, not that great. You have a strong, empowered style, and this dress is too cute, it doesn't suit you. Is it because you're still pining for that innocent, cute style of Ruyan's? Am I much harder to please than her? I thought to myself, oh my God, I want to slam the table and leave. Finally, I gave up. If she said it was pretty, I clapped. If she made me praise her, I showering her with flattery. This tactic was actually effective. Shin Yu-chu beamed. I breathed a sigh of relief. Women truly are terrifying. My hands were weighed down by bags of all sizes when Shin Yu-chu finally granted mercy. One last store and then we go home. She pulled me into a watch shop. She mostly looked at men's watches and occasionally asked me which one was nice. I suddenly remembered that Chairman Shun's birthday was coming up. Perhaps she intended to buy one for him. While I was focused on giving her advice, a familiar voice suddenly rang out. Well, isn't this the unemployed Gu Chang'an? Are you working as a tour guide here now? I replied coldly, is this the year of the dog? Because I run into one everywhere I go. Tungching immediately turned purple, but he tried to snap back, going from vice president to a tour guide, aren't you ashamed? I shrugged, ashamed of what? It just proves I'm handsome and people want to hire me wherever I go. I looked him up and down. And what about you? With that slanted-eyed, upturned nose face, pig head and large ears. If I were you, I'd stay home under a blanket to avoid the embarrassment. Tungching was so angry his chest was heaving, but then he tried to stay calm and sneered. You look down on me, but Ruyan chose me in the end, not you. Now that you have no job, I'm afraid you can't even afford rent. How about I spend a little money here to help you get some commission? Before I could respond, Shin Yu-chu rushed out from inside, her high heels clicking loudly on the floor. What kind of creature are you to dare insult my boyfriend? Seeing Shin Yu-chu, Lee Tungching's eyes lit up with admiration, but his joy didn't last long. Shin Yu-chu immediately shouted, "If you're jealous of Gu Chang'an's good looks, just say so. You're uglier than Zhu Beiji and yet you dare come out here to act like a clown." Lee Tungching roared in anger, "You dare insult me? Do you know who I am?" Shin Yu-chu curled her lips. "I don't care who you are. There isn't a single person in this place I wouldn't dare scold." I didn't bother speaking to Lee Tungching anymore and simply ordered the store manager, "Please escort him out. He is never allowed to return." Lee Tungching burst into laughter. "Do you think you're still the vice president of Lu Corp? I'm the vice president now. I'm the one with the authority to give orders. You're the one who needs to get lost." The manager didn't even spare Lee Tungching a glance, merely saying politely, "Sir, please step outside. Our store does not welcome you." Lee Tungching screamed, "Are you deaf? I told you to kick him out." The manager remained unmoved. Several male staff members approached and escorted Lee Tungching out while he continued to scream incessantly. Shin Yu-chu sighed. Ruyan's taste is truly abysmal. Her family's legacy is going downhill every day. I shrugged. It has nothing to do with me anymore. Less than 10 minutes later, Lee Tungching returned, this time dragging Ruyan along. Seeing Shen Yu-chu and me sitting together, Ruyan's expression changed instantly. "Why are you here with Shen Yu-chu?" I replied nonchalantly, "What does it matter to you?" Ruyan pointed a finger at Shen Yu-chu. "Do you have any idea how many major projects she has stolen from Lu Corp? She is our enemy." Shin Yu-chu leaned closer to me and gave a faint smile. "Little girl, Gu Chang'an is my boyfriend now. He won't be helping you anymore." Ruyan shrieked, "Gu Chang'an, how dare you betray me? And you, Shin Yu-chu, how dare you touch my fiancé?" I stood up and cut Ruyan off. "Enough, Ruyan. You and I have called off the engagement. Don't say things that cause misunderstandings. We are nothing to each other now." Ruyan could say whatever she wanted about me, but when she insulted Shin Yu-chu, I couldn't stay silent. She was the one who demanded a clean break, yet now she was back to cause a scene. She clearly had issues. Ruyan's eyes began to turn red. Perhaps she never expected that someone as once devoted as me would handle things so bluntly. Lee Tungching, fearing that Ruyan might go back to me, hurriedly grabbed her arm and tried to play the victim. "Honey, just now, Gu Chang'an and that girl teamed up to make the manager kick me out. I was so humiliated. You have to stand up for me." Ugh, so annoying. Not wanting to waste words, I simply signaled the staff to throw both Lee Tungching and Ruyan out. Shin Yu-chu raised an eyebrow. "Is this store yours? I hadn't heard that you invested in this sector." I shrugged. "It belongs to a friend. I only have a small stake. I can't believe you figured it out." Shin Yu-chu lowered her head, playfully drawing circles on my chest. "Then can CEO Gu give it to me for free?" Good heavens, she really is a temptress. I quickly stepped back and said hurriedly, "Just take it. Charge it all to my account." Shin Yu-chu didn't hesitate, picking out 4 watches, 2 for men and 2 for women. After I drove her home, she suddenly handed me a small box. One glance told me it was a watch box from the store. "This is a gift for you. I've already paid for it," Shin Yu-chu said in a casual tone. Wait, it's not like I lack money, so why was she giving me this? With that thought, I simply accepted it without much talk. But as soon as I stepped back toward the car, her voice rang out. "Chang'an-ji, is your heart fluttering yet?" I froze for a moment, then hurriedly drove away. Lately, I had been acting a bit unusual. Specifically, Shin Yu-chu was always on my mind. Looking at the watch in the drawer, I took it out to look at it for a while before putting it away again. She's just beautiful, right? A bit talented, and even better at protecting others. Why was she occupying all my thoughts? Suddenly, a familiar voice spoke up. "Boss, it seems your heart is fluttering, and you just haven't realized it yet." I looked up to see my assistant standing there. "What are you doing here?" The assistant smiled. "Boss, my documents still haven't been signed. I was waiting for you." I suddenly remembered, signed the papers quickly, and handed them to him. As he was about to leave, I asked, "Did you hear something just now?" The assistant nodded, made a zipping motion over his mouth, and turned to leave. I nodded in satisfaction. Good. Double his bonus for this year. I intended to call Shun Yuchu, but my phone suddenly rang with a series of messages from former colleagues at Lu Corporation. They were complaining about Yi Tengqing. He didn't understand financial reports or professional terminology, yet he loved giving orders everywhere. It was as if he and President Lu were starring in some cheap tragedy. I could only shake my head. As expected, Yi Tengqing was an art student and a stubborn one at that. Even though I had forced Ruyan to study management, she never paid attention. Lately, Lu Corp had lost several major projects, 3 of which were snatched by Shun Yuchu. A company under the leadership of those two wouldn't last much longer. Just then my phone rang. It was Shun Yuchu. "Gu Chang'an, want to go out for dinner?" I happily agreed. But as soon as I entered the parking lot, a familiar figure rushed out to block me. It was Ruyan. A far cry from the carefree young girl of the past, Ruyan now looked haggard, her hair disheveled and her face pale. But what did that have to do with me? I tried to walk past, but she blocked my path again. "Gu Chang'an, I miss you so much. Can you come back?" I looked at her with cold eyes. "Do you miss me, or do you miss the days when I acted as your nanny, taking care of the company and the family so you could just spend money and enjoy yourself?" Ruyan bit her lip, pleading softly, "Gu Chang'an, I really miss you. Can we go back to how we were before? I'll let you manage Lu Corp, I can't survive without you." Her last sentence was indeed the truth. Since I left, Lu Corp hadn't landed a single decent project, and profits had plummeted so drastically that several branches had to close. Everyone hated Yi Tengqing. He even tried to get a big boss to sign a contract, but ended up getting swindled out of all the goods without receiving any payment. "Ruyan, it's over between us. Your problems are yours to solve." I sighed, looked at Ruyan one last time, and left. Before they knew it, Yi Tengqing and Ruyan could no longer find a trace of the person they once considered their pillar. The company was in the red, and after paying salaries, Lu Corp was drained. Ruyan took Yi Tengqing and a few assistants to apply for a bank loan. Unfortunately, the bank manager was a fat man who loved alcohol and was very fond of harassment. Yi Tengqing couldn't stand it, and Ruyan was no pushover either. She poured an entire bottle of white liquor over the man's head. As a result, the manager was so furious he shouted, "Don't expect to ever borrow a single cent from my bank for the rest of your lives." Upon leaving the bank, Ruyan and Yi Tengqing immediately began to argue. "Are you really this useless? You haven't finished a single project yet, and now you can't even get a loan. Am I feeding you just so you can sit around and do nothing?" Yi Tengqing was livid, his neck veins bulging. "You dare say that? Who was the one who said they would lead me? Now you don't understand a damn thing but still act so high and mighty. Don't forget who poured the alcohol first." Ruyan slapped Yi Tengqing across the face, causing his cheek to swell up. "So what if I poured the alcohol? I was being harassed just now. Did you stand up to defend me? I must have been blind to love you. If it were Gu Chang'an, he would have protected me." Yi Tengqing laughed coldly. "Gu Chang'an? Did you forget that you were the one who kicked him out? If you like him so much, go find him. We're breaking up." Ruyan screamed, "Then break up. Don't you dare show your face to me again." Yi Tengqing sneered, "Fine, break up it is. Just wait and see if Gu Chang'an bothers to come back when you're bankrupt." The video ended there. Ruyan's former assistant had sent this video to me before immediately submitting his resignation. I didn't hesitate to hire him as my own assistant on the spot. As I was sitting there watching the video, Ruyan ran in, crying as she grabbed my hand and shook it. "Gu Chang'an, if you don't come back, Lu Corp will truly go bankrupt. Did you forget the promise you made to my father to take care of me and Lu Corp?" I frowned and pulled my hand away. "Ruyan, you're an adult now. You must take responsibility for your own words and actions. You were the one who kicked me out of the company, so now you must bear the consequences. Ruyan was a mess of tears. Gu Chang'an, I know you're angry with Yi Tengqing. I've already broken up with him and kicked him out of the company. Let's get back together, let's get married, I'll be a good wife. I took a few steps back, my voice cold. I'm sorry, we can't go back. From the moment you dismissed my hard work for Yi Tengqing and kicked me out of Lu Corp, there was nothing left between us. I don't lack money, but my self-respect has its limits. Ruyan shrieked frantically, Gu Chang'an. You promised to take care of me, why are you breaking your word now? Can you really bear to watch Lu Corp go bankrupt? I smiled faintly. Oh, so you did know how much I did for Lu Corporation. But what's the use in remembering that now? Instead of sitting here listening to her lamentations, I'd rather go to the supermarket. Lately, Shin Yuchu has been making me buy ingredients for cooking. If I don't hurry, the older ladies will sweep the shelves clean. I bypassed Ruyan and walked away. As I started the car, she was still clinging to the window. Gu Chang'an, don't go. Did you forget the promise to my father? If you leave, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I didn't bother replying, just stepped on the gas and left Ruyan standing there. Less than 2 days later, I came to understand exactly what she meant by regretting it for the rest of your life. She wrote a long post on social media, recounting how her father had saved my family and demanded that I marry her, while also helping Lu Corp overcome its difficulties. However, she absolutely failed to mention that she was the one who kicked me out of the company. The post shifted all the blame onto me, painting me as an ungrateful and treacherous man. This caused the internet to swarm me with insults, calling for a boycott of Gu Corp's products. Even my partners temporarily suspended our contracts to wait for the situation to die down. It was an unexpected blow. Shin Yuchu paced back and forth in the room, fuming. Gu Chang'an, after all the work you did for her for years, this is how you're treated? She is truly ungrateful trash. I gave a bitter smile. Stop pacing already. Aren't you getting dizzy? Shin Yuchu pouted, her cheeks puffed out like a pufferfish. Gu Chang'an, I'm angry on your behalf. How can you still laugh when you're being slandered like this? I shrugged. Why not laugh? The higher she climbs, the harder she'll fall in a moment. Shin Yuchu's eyes lit up. You have a counterattack plan? Of course, but now isn't the time yet. While I was waiting for the right moment, my phone rang. It was Ruyan. Gu Chang'an, is your Gu Corp just as pathetic as Lu Corp now? Just come back, and I'll help you explain everything. We can be fiancé and fiancé again. Shin Yuchu snatched the phone right out of my hand and fired back, Ruyan, you think a few words can defeat Gu Chang'an? You're dead wrong. Ruyan shrieked, Shin Yuchu. Stealing my projects wasn't enough. Now you're stealing Gu Chang'an too? I won't let you get away with this. Shin Yuchu gave a cold laugh. Then come and take him. I'm right here in Gu Chang'an's bed. I stood there, my face darkening, and grabbed the phone back. Stop talking nonsense, you little ancestor. I'm begging you, stop. How much more do you want to embarrass my name? No sooner had the words left my mouth than, less than 10 minutes later, just as I predicted, Ruyan posted another long story about me and Shin Yuchu playing around in the office. The post was dramatic and full of colorful details. The funny thing was, Shin Yuchu actually saved that post, laughing delightedly. We have to try everything mentioned in this post. She even praised me for having the qualities of a cheetah. I secretly went online to look up the meaning of that slang. As soon as I understood it, I immediately sent her home. When the scandal reached its peak online, I quickly wrote a rebuttal and handed it to the PR department for distribution. The core content was, yes, I once owed a debt of gratitude to Chairman Lu and agreed to the engagement with Ruyan, promising to support Lu Corporation. However, it was Ruyan herself who unilaterally called off the engagement and fired me. The employees of Lu Corp could testify to this. Furthermore, I had a promise with Chairman Lu to support Lu Corp for only 10 years, and the day I left was exactly the day that promise was fulfilled. I even attached the agreement signed by myself and Chairman Lu, notarized by lawyers. This document was authentic and could not be forged. That wasn't all. Shun Yu-chu released the video of Ruyan and Yi Tengqing forcing me to leave the company. The internet exploded, and the public sentiment abruptly shifted from criticism to pity for me. It turned out I hadn't just slaved away for Lu Corp for 10 years, but was ultimately kicked out like a parasite. Who could stand for such treatment? Ruyan's actions caused a shockwave in the business world. Partner companies still under contract with Lu Corp simultaneously announced they were severing ties and canceling contracts immediately. Companies whose contracts had expired refused to renew, even seeking out new partners to replace them. They saw that I had dared to walk away from Lu Corp after 10 years, so they felt no need to show any further respect. Before long, many rival companies began targeting Lu Corporation. Shun Yu-chu even poached quite a few talents from Lu Corp to work for her. Although I didn't intend to strike a fatal blow against Lu Corp, the situation was already tragic enough. At the very least, I hadn't broken my promise to Chairman Lu. Ruyan called me repeatedly afterward, but I blocked her number. She even tried to break into Gu Corp to see me but was stopped by security, as per my instructions. I decided to move house to avoid facing her, and somehow, I ended up becoming Shun Yu-chu's neighbor. Every day, I went to the supermarket to buy groceries just so I could hitch a meal at her place. The final news about Ruyan and Yi Tengqing came from social media. Yi Tengqing, realizing he could no longer squeeze anything out of Lu Corp, turned around and sold the company's trade secrets to a competitor. When Ruyan found out, she was in a total panic because she had been selling off assets to save the company. With that fatal blow from Yi Tengqing, Lu Corp completely collapsed and was bought out by a large corporation. In just 4 short months, Ruyan had squandered her entire family legacy. Finally, on a dark night, Ruyan made Yi Tengqing leave this world at home, then climbed to the roof of the Lu Corp building and jumped, ending her tragic life. Just as I was reading this news, a small hand gently covered my phone screen. Shun Yu-chu's soft voice whispered in my ear, "Don't look anymore. Everything is over." I took her hand, pulled her into my arms and whispered, "Thank you for always staying by my side."